Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our online event on how construction can thrive in the digital world. My name's Al Emery, Managing Director at Momentum Software Solutions, and I'm hosting the event today together with our key partners at Myob, Procore, and Velixo. So I'll just take you through a couple of online event etiquette matters, just as quick reminders so that we can have a great experience as we go through the event this morning. So if you're not already familiar with Teams or attended online events, and I'm sure you all have, but a couple of quick reminders, if you could please mute your microphone, and also you can choose to have your camera on or off. Off means less bandwidth is being used typically. Happy to take questions throughout the event, and you can do that either by popping a question into the chat or raising your hand, and we'll pause the discussion and take the questions as we go. So the agenda this morning is a quick update from myself. Then we're going to have John Buckley. We're very excited to have John, Product Manager for the Construction Edition of Myob Advanced, and he's going to cover off key features and functionality of what Myob Advanced does for the construction vertical, and a couple of coming features of interest via the roadmap. We then have Brian James from our consulting team, who is going to provide a live overview of the Myob Advanced construction software. We then have Craig Bovaird, Channel Manager at Procore, and Procore is a construction management platform very well integrated with Myob Advanced, which enhances the overall solution for businesses servicing the construction vertical. And then we have Chris Miller from Velixo. A lot of people working construction businesses use a lot of Excel spreadsheets, and Velixo makes getting the data into those Excel spreadsheets and also producing meaningful reports for construction companies super easy. So he's going to talk about that. Just quickly, if you don't know Momentum and who we are, we're a long-term partner with Myob. In fact, we're a platinum partner. We've been involved with Myob since I started the business back in 2007. We have over 250, in fact, it's over 270 businesses running Myob ERP software that we sell, implement, and service. We have a team of over 30 people based in Brisbane and the Sunshine Coast, and a couple of remote workers as well. And so we're a full service ERP implementer, and we would talk to you from the beginning of any sales discussion right through to post-go live support. We have a lot of experience with businesses that are either construction businesses themselves or servicing the construction vertical, and there's a few examples of businesses that we've helped on their growth journey with a construction suitable ERP platform. Why is construction so important particularly, and why is it facing challenges with digitization? Probably the obvious one is that construction businesses do on-site work, so a big part of their workforce are not in the office, and having information efficiently moving between both site-based people and office-based people historically was a big challenge. A lot of paperwork being done on site that then need to be transported back to the office. Software that was on-premise or server-based and not easily accessed remotely, mobile apps not available. So challenges that creates is, ineffective or late collaboration on projects, estimates or project forecasts inaccurate or behind schedule for the same reason, A lot of wasted time on data transposition or manual entry, so things done in spreadsheets based on paper records that were completed on site. So often an incomplete view of a project, misunderstanding between yourselves and your customers, and catching problems, especially budget-related problems, too late in the piece in order to deal with it. And the solution available with a cloud-based and mobile-enabled platform is it increases collaboration. So it enables remote connectivity, enables accurate project forecasts to be done and kept up to date much more easily, automates and streamlines capture of data, which helps keep costs down, but more importantly gives real-time visibility to project managers and business managers on where projects are at. So a lot of companies we talk to might be using small business software, Myob Account Right or Xero, or even another ERP, but not necessarily a construction designed ERP, and a lot of Excel spreadsheets, and can be other add-ons as well. And often those aren't really designed for a larger business, aren't really designed to integrate and create a lot of problems, have limited reporting, and maybe aren't mobile. So I guess, you know, that's the situation you ideally don't want to be in. And a future state is, you know, a connected cloud-based mobile platform. So whether that's Myob Advanced on its own or Myob Advanced working together with solutions like Procore and Velixo, all of that integration happening in real time. A quick snapshot of Myob Advanced is designed from the ground up as cloud-based software, so nothing to install. It's not an older ERP with a cloud front end put on the front of it. Specifically designed for cloud and mobile, so it runs 24/7 in your browser or mobile application. So I'll just pause there, and I'm going to introduce now John Buckley. John is well known to us and is product manager for the construction edition at Myob. So I'll hand over to you. Thanks, John.
Great, thanks very much, Al. Al's already covered off a lot of interesting points there about Myob Advanced Construction, so it was a really good overview there, Al. So what I'm just going to show you through today, I will just get this set up for you. Okay, so just taking you through a bit about the Advanced Construction platform. So yeah, as Al mentioned, it is a cloud ERP platform. Delivers end-to-end business management, providing ERP, payroll, and workforce management on one integrated cloud platform. The data is securely stored, ensuring quick disaster recovery, quick system updates, and that doesn't interrupt your day-to-day business should anything go wrong. You know, with the cloud ERP, employees have got the full access to their work resources on all their devices from wherever they are, which is extremely important in the construction industry. Everyone has access to up-to-date information to connect with your team, and streamlining workflows and avoiding the bottlenecks. It also means you have access to real-time data and analytics, allowing you know, construction managers to see exactly where things are at and respond quickly to any changes or issues on site. The Myob Advanced platform, it gives your organisation an approach that provides seamless and real-time tax, payroll, compliance, efficiency, and industry expertise. Advanced Construction provides a deeper understanding of your construction projects, taking into account all the various moving parts to provide you with clear, timely, and accurate information to help you more effectively manage the current and future state of your projects from anywhere. You can easily share the data and project updates across teams, whether they're in the office or on site, minimize errors, improve your operational efficiencies, and reduce the repeated data entry, which we all know we don't like that too much. Your real-time project updates, you can anticipate scope changes and address issues quickly if they arise. With the job costing capabilities, you can accurately estimate and forecast your future jobs to avoid over-budget projects. If we take a look at the scope of the features within the solution, it's important to understand that Myob Advanced Construction is an all-of-business solution. It compromises more than just project management and construction functionality to help you run and manage all aspects of your business and projects. I won't go through all of them just now, but you can see some of them on the screen there, and we'll certainly take a closer look at them in action in the upcoming demo by the Momentum team. Just want to touch on the roadmap for advanced construction. We have a heavy focus on compliance and localization at the moment. As you can see on your screen there, we've got a lot of we're talking about terminology changes to suit the ANZ market, retentions in New Zealand, industry reporting. So Velixo is a huge help there, but we're looking to get a lot more standardized industry reporting that suits our region into the package out of the box. Retentions, again, the consolidation of retentions just to make your invoicing a lot smoother and a lot easier. Looking at site delays to really help identify those issues on site quickly and have that transparency of what's happening and how long they're going to take. So everyone can access that information, at the same time, and shouldn't be a surprise when things are coming up, because the info's there. You can be alerted about a delay, and also look at if there's an extension of time they're claimed by the subcontractors. Project trusts in Queensland are a thing. Some new legislation coming in Queensland. That's from the QBCC around project trust and retention trust functionality. So we are going to be taking a very, very close look at that and ensuring that our solution is compliant with that. And also, perhaps later on in the year, we'll be looking at just around the requirements of what's involved to make it a bit more smoother for residential construction, looking at multiple quotes, options management, that kind of thing. Just having a look to see if there's much we can do there to help support that industry. But that just sort of, I think, gives you a good idea of where we're looking to take the product, and also shows that Myob is really heavily invested in these industry solutions, such as construction and manufacturing. The construction product itself was launched about a year and a half ago. I've been with Myob for 12 months now, so they brought me on board to really drive this solution. We've also got the manufacturing solution as well, whose new product manager has been appointed to that. So that really does show you that Myob is invested in these industry solutions, and we do see that as a real way of the future for the Myob Advanced product. So thanks very much for that, Al, and back over to you.
Thanks, John, and some great insights as to what's coming in the product, and probably a good segue in terms of mentioning manufacturing is that what we found through our own experience is a lot of businesses servicing the construction industry are in fact fabricators or manufacturers. So they may be making or fabricating a certain product, but then delivering it into a construction site. So in that event, you actually need both. So you need manufacturing functionality within your ERP, but you need the construction functionality because you may still be doing milestone claims with retentions from a billing perspective. You may be engaging subcontractors to do the install part of that work and require site compliance management, etc. And you can in fact have all of those things working within the construction edition of Myob Advanced, including the manufacturing. So I'm going to pass over now to Brian. Brian's one of our business development managers at Momentum, and in particular has a lot of domain knowledge about the construction business. So he's now going to take you through an overview of what Myob Advanced does for construction.
Thanks, Alistair. Thanks, Rob. Okay, just get my share my screen. Okay, so that's the project overview dashboard of Myob Advanced Construction, a sample of what can be achieved on a dashboard. I'm logged in as myself, Brian Jones. I'm in the construction tenant of the system. I'm on the Rapid Bytes company entity, and this is our demo system. This is Momentum-Demo2. That's the URL we look at. So a sample of a project overview, stuff like pie charts and bar charts, lots of drill downs, URLs taken back to the actual project themselves, even got on-site camera kind of thing, access, and so on. So a typical project manager would sit with this screen on his desk on a daily basis. Let's look at project 126, for example, being this building a home, a residential home, drill down to it. And that comes actual project data. So this project master file that contains the various tabs, so summary tab, task tab, revenue tab, so on and so forth. So this is the actual project itself happening. So it starts off with who it's for, how we're going to record it, how we're going to bill it out on demand billing, who the customer is, do we have retentions, if so, at what level, what percentage, the link to the other parts of the system. We have things like tasks, so that all the tasks on the project itself, each task would have its own billing status and start and end dates, a completion percentage, etc. Those tasks then in turn link to a revenue side of things, or revenue budget, and a cost budget. So, for example, how much you're going to get for each of those tasks and the cost of those tasks. And it's brought together then on the balances tab. The balances tab then collates both the income and expense tabs, bringing together like a profit and loss, showing you the original budget, what's been spent to date, what's been committed, and commitments, changes, and revised budgets. So going back to the summary again, this information would have started off as a quote. I'm going to go to the quote. So it came from quote number 14. So you have a project quote on the system, which can be built from a template. So the template around this case was a new house domestic. Looking at the template itself, you'll see basically it's a replica of the project, what was there at the beginning. So the tasks, the revenue, etc., and costs are all set up as predefined templates, meaning you can quickly create a quote and then create the project at the same time. So going back to the actual project quote, then you have things like your estimations around your unit cost and selling prices against each of those tasks. And again, those tasks can be as detailed as you like and linked to cost codes, cost groups, etc. Notice you've got a upload files from file. In other words, you can actually import this data from a third party like Excel or ProEst, bring it into the system as your project quote. So this quote, they can act then with back and forward with activities to your client, getting it going out in different versions and recording the whole sales process around the quoting. Once you've won the job, then you're going to convert it to a project, and thus becomes this project 126. So let's go back to it. Here we are back in project 126 again. It's been built from the quote. It's now ready to go to start recording the actuals. Right, I'm now going to log in now as a site person. So I'm going to go into my mobile app and get the phone going and pretend I'm now on the site doing certain things. So I'm just going to get my team viewer up and going. So let's just bear with me as I get the phone working. So connecting. Is it connecting? There we go. Start the broadcast. And countdown. Well, all right. So you can all see my phone, I'm gathering. Just going to make the screen a bit bigger. All right, so I'm now on my mobile phone. I'm going to log in as Michael Andrews into the system. So on my phone, demo 1, 2, 3, 4, and sign in. So as you can see, I'm linked to the construction edition again, revised company. I'm logged in as Michael Andrews, and I can do a whole bunch of things. As you can see on my screen, I've got stuff like expenses, approvals, events, leads, contacts. This is basically the full list. Obviously, it can be cut down to suit whatever's going to be configured for your system. So you can see project issues, purchase orders, etc., etc. This is going to say do a purchase order. So click on purchase order. I can plus down the bottom. I've come to the screen, got today's data there. I can go to supplier. There's all my suppliers. I can search for it. For example, I may have somebody with the word tool in it. So there's global industrial tools. I'll select them. I can go down there and say what I want to do. Go to my details tab. Again, I'm going to add details to the purchase order. I can order stock items, so it's up a stock system if I wanted to, or skip that and just have a basic non-stock item, widgets maybe, and unit measure, inches. How many do I want? Let's say 58 of them. Done that. And the cost price for my supplier, he's told me on the phone, is $25. Done. All right, so I've got 1450 for my PO on the system. Going down further, I can define then which project does it belong to. So I click on the list again. I can then again search for my projects. So I know it's 126, or could have typed in the name as home or the customer. And there it is, the Signal Story project home. Then I define a project task. So one of those tasks, what does it belong to? I can say it's a big part of, say, for example, the rendering side of it. And the cost code to framing as well as the rendering, promise date and due date. And there's my PO done. Go back there and save it. So from a mobile device, I could say raise POs, I can do receipts against POs, I can do timesheet entry. Another feature is the daily field report. If I click on daily field report, I've got one there from yesterday, still open. I'm just going to open it up. So the daily field report will allow you to do things like setting up change requests, change orders, determining subcontractors, like who's been on site, for example, subcontractor there. We had the SAR hardware came on site. There was 3 guys on site from 7 till 3 o'clock, 8 hours, and they did the following. And to that, you can attach documents and photographs as well, etc. Back again, stuff like raising project issues on the system, photo logs, notes. There's a link to the weather system as well, so you actually call it up and link to the weather. It'll update the system with that weather at that particular time on the contract. Any visitors to the site, you can record who came, why they came, what they're doing, etc. So basically, all information can be gathered on site straight away and update to the system back to where we want it. Go back again to the main menus. Like I said, we've got stuff like the actual request information. For example, issue bit stuff here. So you need to have more scaffolding, more heights. So it's an issue being raised. So an RFI can be done on site back to the project manager to be looked at and then sent to the client or the contractors. So all information kept in one place, updated straight away all the time. Project issues, like I said before, be raised as well, and change requests and so on and so forth. Right, let's go and exit out of there, sign out again, and load it down. So back to my project again, I'm here 126. So now if I, again, as the project manager, go to commitments, I'll see now, for example, I've got an extra order number 46 raised against global tools for today. So it's update straight away onto the system, know exactly what's going on. I can now raise the PO and go through the normal approval process of getting it approved and sent across to the supplier for delivery to site. In commitments as well, I've also got subcontractors, so I can do a subcontractor purchase order. For example, we've got one here for DB Construction, number 17, that was issued out previously. So it's a PO to a subcontractor to do certain work, and that actually we can produce a subcontract short form contract, which can be sent out to the client, or sorry, to the subcontractor, putting the state how we're going to pay it and the terms and conditions of the subcontract. Looking back at the same subcontract again, you've also got basically going around a history around it. So we've actually got an invoice that's come in for the subcontractor for a certain amount. We can click on that actual invoice. So the subcontractor has billed us and haven't yet paid them, but it's coming through against the subcontract. So partial invoicing against the subcontract. And as you see, we've got things like joint payees, we can pay by line, and also got the tracking of TPAR as well on the system. While we're here, I'll look at the Invoices tab. So invoices are invoices to our clients. We've invoiced out to the client, progress billings. You see we've got 2 invoices we've sent out. So number 62, for example, was the first invoice. And that was $24,500 just about, sent out to the client. There was a second invoice, number 67, went in February, last week. And you'll see that it records what was previously invoiced, $24,500. And keeps track as well on the retentions around it in the invoices. And again, for these pro forma invoices, we can actually send out AIA reports, which gives you the restricted layout of basically a claim. So who's going to original contract term, conditions, any change orders going through, certifications, and the items around what was actually claimed on that invoice. So back to the project screen again, number 126, back to summary. And one of the, besides data coming in, daily granular projects, is actually managing the budgets and the costs. So back on the main screen under the inquiries, we've got, for example, a project budget forecast. That original quote that came into the system actually forms the project of the budget. We can then take that actual budget and break it down by the financial periods. So this particular project started in December and it's going to finish in May. So these periods here represent the 6th month of the 22 financial year, i.e. December, January, February, March, April. So we actually go in and decide how much money we're going to get, or think we're going to get, with each of those periods going down to the project. And that will apply to any or all lines on the system, all those tasks, so the fees, engineering, hire items, so on and so forth. So you can break down your estimate down to actual particular periods of how you're going to do your cash flow. And this can be saved as a revision. So as at end of January or halfway through or at different milestones, you can pull up your budget, update them and save those different copies to be then used and look forward to later on. Going back again, under inquiries, we then have a further report called cost projection. In other words, the cost to finish the project. Again, based upon percentage complete and any revised variations put through. So you've got your original budgets, your revised budgets, your committed amount, what's been actually spent, where we're going to end up, and to complete, cost to complete. And again, this can be done time and time again, keeping different revisions around it on different dates. So obviously it'll change every month, every 2 weeks, as you get more and more into the project around your cost projections on the actual project itself. One more thing on construction is very important is work in progress. For example, system allows for work in progress reporting. I'm going to choose again the entire system. I'll take again my project 126 just to show the single project. I want to report. And work in progress again will show us what's been originally approved, where we're at estimated, where we're happening, and what's forecasted, and showing us basically the work in progress side of things. And obviously that can be run then for the entire system, not just on one project. So then helps then with the end of month entries around your accounting side of the system, giving the entire work in progress for the entire all projects over all things. All right, and that basically concludes, back to the project management dashboard again, concludes my little demonstration and overview of Myob Advanced Construction. back to you, Alistair.
Thank you, Brian. So yeah, we hope that gave you a quick insight into the different things that Myob construction can do. I can assure you it does a hell of a lot more than that, but that's a good overview in a short period of time. And of course, anybody on the event who's interested in a deeper dive, just reach out to us and we'll organise that for you. Okay, so next we are talking about Procore. And we have Craig Bovade, Channel Manager for Procore, and he is going to take you through, I guess, the sort of things that Procore do. In some ways, there is some overlapping functionality between Procore and Myob Advanced, but Procore for larger, more complex construction businesses then really extends the available functionality, especially for site-based information, but I won't steal any more of Craig's thunder. I'll pass over to you, Craig, and you can tell us about Procore.
That's great. Thanks, Al. Really appreciate it. And you know, just kind of touching on what everyone's been talking about this morning, what's really key to Procore is about us really improving the lives of everyone in construction, and this is why we have a really key strategic relationship with the likes of Myob and Momentum, because everything we've all been talking about really is focused on the construction industry. And obviously, again, what everyone's been talking about today is the way that we build is evolving. We've got past a big hurdle about getting off paper, and now we're on to kind of the internet, mobile devices, different applications, and now it's about extending that and really how can we make better decisions about getting insights through the data that we're gathering from here as well. And I guess one of the key challenges about how we get those insights is really about how we connect that collaboration, right? We all know in construction that it is multiple companies, multiple parties, multiple people working on the projects at any one time. And the project could be being driven from the developer, general contractor, subbies have their own subbies, equipment suppliers, material suppliers. Everyone needs to be able to have access to all that information at any one time to be able to make those decisions. And if we have that kind of siloed feel to it, if we have that kind of decentralized workforce, and we're not really easily able to communicate across those teams, both upstream, downstream, and across teams, that's where we really find that kind of disconnection, and particularly when we're talking about financial data, right? We need to know the numbers in real time, whether we're on budget, whether we're behind, what's been paid, who's turning up. And if we don't have that connection between on site and what's happening in the back of the office, that's where we're doing a lot of double ups, we're copying and pasting, we're doing multiple emails, we're really wasting time, money, and resource. And that's a big component of why, again, we work with companies like Myob, because how do you connect all those people? How do you connect those different technologies and projects to build in a better way? For us, much in the same way that Myob Advanced, the construction edition with ERP, takes a real platform approach, so does Procore. And so what do we mean by a construction platform? So for us, it's about having all the required tools for the guys on site, again, really focused about what's happening on site, all really connected. So you can see it doesn't really matter who is running the project, who's involved in it, again, whether it's owner, GC, going through the engineers, back to the architects. It is about making sure that the right people have the right tools at the right time. And we don't have enough time to dive into all of the tools that we have. There's close to something like 90 different tools and growing. But if you look at the toolboxes there that we've got at the top, so whether it's in pre-construction, around pre-qual, bid management, In fact, estimating has just launched in the ANZ market in the last couple of months. Big focus for us, and where we grew is really on that core project management toolbox. So project management, quality and safety, design coordination, BIM, then getting into field productivity. In fact, equipment now falls into that as well. And then obviously financial management. And when we talk financial management, we're really talking about kind of job cost management. We're not a general ledger. Again, why we have a really key strategic relationship with the Myob Advanced platform, because we need to be able to pass that information back into the back office, and yet still have those approvals and on-site vision to be able to make those real-time decisions. And then a really good example of how we connect all those tools is workflows, things like digital ITPs, action plans, where we can build across workflows across those multiple tools and be able to tag other pictures and drawings and RFIs within that, yet without having to leave the platform or even just the one tool within the app. Then sitting underneath that, obviously, is our app marketplace, where we connect into a range of different ISVs, software providers. Again, Procore by no means is the one and all answer to everything on the site, which is why we have a really open platform. In fact, anyone can connect into the platform. We have a really key set of APIs. And even when we talk about the out-of-the-box connections that we have in our marketplace, absolutely can there be custom development to either enhance those connections or build custom connections within that as well. And that all ties across the analytics platform that we'll have a little bit look at later as well. But again, when we look at all those tools, the customization, the UI, the way that they use them are really, really flexible so that they can be molded into the way that you do your work, how you do it, where you do it, and the workflows and permissions that you have. Again, it's no use just having all that data in there without being able to pull that all out. That's where our analytics tools comes in. And again, for us, our analytics tools is not just about what's happening in our platform. Again, why we plug into ERP systems such as Myob, we want to make sure that that information is both flowing in and out of the platform so that the right people, again, have access to all that information to make those great decisions. That allows us to have that real key, strong single source of truth so that the guys on site at any one time can see what's happening, whether it's upstream or downstream, back office or front office. And because we have that streamlined communication, and that is, again, within the platform, but then easily able to connect into how best other teams use that. Email, for example, and whether it's going out into email straight back into the platform, again, consolidating that communication streams. And as said, we're not the be all and end all, and there's some really key areas, particularly when we look at things in Australia, such as permits and SWIMs, right? We don't have the capability to do that because we haven't yet developed right down into key legislation, and we probably won't because we're in multiple zones and different legal and compliance is different everywhere. So that's why we plug into those developers, those ISVs, such as like a One Breadcrumb, for example, that are partnered with the two of us to be able to bring that functionality and again, take that information outside of those different applications, but it's not disparate. Again, it's bringing it back into the platform to have that one single source of truth. We've got something like 350 plus different applications that we plug into. We're onboarding ISVs all the time, particularly a big drive here in ANZ to make sure that we've got the local teams plugging into us as well. And we know already that it's bringing extra enhancements, extra value, because something like over 72% of customers use at least one integration. Most are using at least 3 to 5. And finance is absolutely a huge key part of that. So take a real high level look at how we integrate with Myob. And as Al said, there's actually a lot of crossover in some of the functionality that we do. And that is really, really key because again, it's the two systems enhancing each other. and we want to make sure that we've got that free flow of information. So you can see the data points there. We obviously, if you want to dive a little bit deeper into that, that's exactly what Al and his team are for. But a lot of them are bi-directional. So it's understanding more, not so much where the connections are as such, but really what are the key workflows. And again, why we're partnering with Momentum, they understand construction, they understand what those workflows, what those roles need to have at any one time. So really it's about understanding your business more and understanding those key workflows about who needs to be on site, who's back in the office. We don't want people having to learn 2 or 3 different applications. So where do we start those projects and how do we push that through to the right people to get that same information, albeit they might be looking at it from an MYOB lens, from an accountancy point of view, or they might be the job site manager on site and he just needs to know what's been paid, who's allowed on. And again, understanding that because we've got such flexibility in the connections, it is really coming down and using a partner such as Momentum to go through and map that through and understand best practice for your business, because that's going to change between business to business. And so once we look at all those tools within the Procore platform, all the tools that we can plug into through our integrations, understanding those kind of, again, key financial workflows, now we can really streamline that communication across all those different parties, still maintain that single source of truth without having to have disparate silos of information, because we've connected the technology stack that you use right across the company. And again, that then allows us to have real streamlined communication and visibility through the entire life cycle of the project. And so once we achieve that, here's just a real quick snapshot of the different views that you could have at any one time. So we've got a subby on site. He's identified an RFI, there's an error, a bit of rework needs to be done. He's marking that up directly on the drawings, and the drawings are connected to the 3D models as well, but really showing, okay, this is where there needs to be damage replaced in the wall, takes a photo, snaps it, tags it to the drawing. That obviously then gets passed through up to the contractor, managing that, understanding what's going on. Do we need to get that sorted? What's it going to cost us? How does it affect my timelines? How does it affect my budget? And then passes that up through to the owner. So again, the developer has key insights in real time and understanding what's happening on the project. And then while the developer is having that 30,000-foot view, using those dashboards, those analytics, being able to question what's happening in the budget that the GCs are keeping track of very tightly, and then being able to pass it back down to the subbies, right? Making sure they get paid on time when they've done the work. And then again, if we look at the analytics piece, how do we take all that information that we've got and make it easily digestible and usable and put in a format that is for the right person that they need to know what their job roles are? And again, it's not just about the Procore data. We can extract our Procore data. We can throw that into the MYOB analytics tools. We can pull the MYOB information out and pull that into our analytics tools as well. Have that cross-tool, cross-project reporting. Again, making sure that we're not having those silos of information, but not having too much information at any one time, breaking it down for the right person at the right time. And so obviously when we start looking at employing those platforms and connecting those platforms, right, of course we're going to get a lot more standardized processes because we're able to have that kind of single source of truth. We're going to definitely have improved communication. That's going to bring improved transparency within our projects as well. Of course, all those add up to building on time, exceeding profit goals, making sure that we're actually making money in this business as well. And so just the last thing on why construction is really ramping up with the Procore. We've been here for 4 and a bit years now. There's close to 200 people of us based in the or Sydney and surrounding areas now. One thing is we are just on the construction industry. That's all we do. That's all we build for. And because we understand that industry and the model, we have an unlimited user model. And that's unlimited users, not just in the business that's paying for the platform, but unlimited users for all the subbies and everyone else that they want access to see that project as well. And so because we have an unlimited user model, we also have unlimited support. Again, it could be a subby that's turning up first day, logging on to the Procore app for the first time. Instantly, because he's on one of your projects, he has direct support links in the app via chat and phone as well. So again, unlimited support to anyone that's using the platform. And again, unlimited storage. We want to make sure as much information, photos, videos, live streaming, drawings, no matter how many revisions there are, unlimited storage within the platform as well. So again, we're getting full visibility of those projects. And with that, I know that was a really quick overview, but again, as Al was saying, for us, it's really extending the capabilities of MYOB. Again, really focused kind of on the on-site, but we want to make sure that back in the office, we're also making sure that we've got that free flow of information. So thank you for that, and back to you, Al.
Thanks, Craig. Great overview there, and the diagram that Craig put up partway through about the connector is, I guess, where that seamless integration of data between MYOB Advanced and Procore is happening. So whether it's a new vendor, a new project, cost codes, subcontracts, purchase orders, is all synchronizing in real time without the user needing to manually push any integration buttons. They just flow through with the pre-built connector using the API for each system. Okay, so next we want to talk about Velixo. And one thing that's quite prevalent in construction businesses is they tend to have a lot of good Excel skills, because often businesses start, they're almost running their entire business on an Excel. Be it the project budget, cost projections, margin. I've seen it all developed in Excel. What Velixo does beautifully is make the information available in Excel, as well as having an understanding of industry requirements and providing a lot of pre-done reports. So without stealing too much of Chris's thunder, I'll hand over to Chris Miller from Velixo.
Thanks very much, Al. Most appreciated. After listening to everybody that's gone before me, I feel like I'm in seriously exalted company here. There's some very, very good products. They're very slick products. I'm here to tell you about Velixo. One thing we do know is that in every single entity, it doesn't matter whether it's construction or not, but more prevalent in construction, everybody uses Excel. They use it manually, and that carries risks. It also just wastes time. We're all time poor. So tools like Velixo make a massive difference, because one, everybody's got the skill to use them because they Excel. Okay, and you can hone your Excel skills, you get better and better at it. Okay, so what I'm going to do today, I'm going to tell you about Velixo. And sorry, the first thing is to thank Al. So something's crept into my presentation here, which is a bit of animation. But from my side, Al and Momentum, the support you guys give us is amazing. I've got 10 minutes to convince you that Velixo is something that you should use. And if you have Myob Advanced, you should be using it. There's no doubt about that. What is the use case? Where do you use it? Where does it fit in? From a point of view of, that's weird, it wasn't there earlier. The key differentiators, what makes it different to using manual Excel to go and using high-end tools, and how is it different to all of them? And then lastly, I'm going to spend 5 minutes taking you through a project report that we've built that is a tool. Okay, yes, you can change it, you can do anything you want to with it. It's just an Excel skill at that level, but it gives you a start, and it gives you a massive start at managing your projects from a quick understanding data perspective. Okay, all right. Why Velixo? It's important to understand the difference between manual Excel and integrated Excel tools. So Velixo is completely integrated with Excel. You don't have to go and dump things into it. The data all comes directly out of Myob Advanced and into Excel. It's not a dump of data. It's a feed of data that you can refresh at any stage, and you've got up-to-date information. There's nothing sitting between the two. There's no cube that is built overnight. You're not doing anything like that. It's coming straight out of Myob Advanced, straight into Excel. All right. Then the thing that sets it apart from most other things is that it's fully integrated from a security perspective. So the security in Myob flows through into Velixo. All right. If you're using the same login, and if your login doesn't allow you to see something, you will not be able to see it in Velixo either. It's as simple as that, because you log in with your own personal login to Myob Advanced. The other thing that's quite important is you've got access to all data. There are lots of tools out there that'll give you a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But with Velixo, any data that you've got in that database, doesn't matter whether it's project data, construction data, or full financials, whatever you've got, you can get at that data. Okay, and remember that it happens within this whole cloud of security that fits around Myob Advanced, and it is probably the most sophisticated of the ones that I've seen. Key thing, it's an Excel skill set. There's no rocket science here. Everybody can use Excel. Some people can use it better than others, but this is an Excel skill set. Excuse me. All right. We don't dump information. You take a trial balance and put it in here, take project information, export it, put it there. Don't have to do that. You pull it directly out of the system, and it uses a system of functions that are there. So there are functions that are preset that will give you, your committed amounts, that will give you your construction budget, your project budgets, income, you name it. They're all there. So you're not dumping things, it's coming out automatically. But in addition to that, because you've got this smorgasbord of things in the background, you can also write things back. That's another part of the integration. You can write things back, your project forecasts, right back into the system directly out of your workbook. Okay. What is nice as well is you can automate your reporting and your report distribution. You don't have to go and say, okay, well, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to copy this out and print it and send it there. You can send it out directly out of your Velixo reports. And the important thing to understand there is it can go as a Velixo report. If somebody was to refresh that, they need a license. If they don't have a license, it comes as Excel, and they would just get the information. Is it live? No, it's not live. Is it usable? Yes, it's very definitely usable. And because you've got the full power of Excel around you, you can do anything that Excel can do, which I like to say is just about anything. It really can do anything in Excel. Okay. The preset functions are extensive. The project functions cover everything from a project point of view. The financial ones cover anything from a financial perspective, but you've also got functions that allow you to attach to any query called a generic inquiry that sits within Myob Advanced, and you can pull out that data. So anything is available for you from Myob Advanced. Okay, right. I'm just checking the time here. I'm 1 minute behind where I wanted to be. The construction pack. So we've done and developed a construction report pack. So I will just escape from there and bring this pack up. All right, and it's got a whole lot of information through it. Yes, we're working on a demo system, and I have to say, this is the same system Brian is working on, and it's got more information than any other demo system I've ever worked in, so it's pretty awesome. Okay, so let's have a look. Here's my overview, and basically what you're getting here is a set of data. So you open up, and you would see the projects that are applicable to you that you're seeing through security. So let's call it the contracts director would see the whole works. The admin people would see the whole works. Project manager would see their projects. The junior project manager would see the 1 or 2 projects they're managing, just by virtue of the fact that they're logging in. From this, you've got a picture of what is happening, and it's very simple at this level. It's really just a summary, okay? Then let's start drilling down into the system. So here is my summary by project. Now, the key thing to understand with Velixo is that this is not a flat file, it's 3-dimensional. So behind this, I've got all the projects, and I've got project number 126 there. I can flip that down to, let's go to 105. I would probably choose one that's got no data. No, that's pretty good. And all the information is there from a point of view of your income and your expenses on that project, and your budgets, items across what's committed across the top. Now, please, this is a tool. We've developed it. You can add to it. You can take away from it, do anything you want to. It just gives you the ability to look and drill at a detailed level. From a point of view, people say, well, it's not mobile. Yes, it is. So Excel exists in a whole lot of different animals. The desktop is the most powerful. You've got an app, which isn't too bad, and then you've got the online version. And Velixo as a product works in all three of them. You have to be very careful, though, that you don't choose functions in, say, the online version that just aren't available. It's not just an online version of the desktop. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Then you've got your budgets, commitments. There's your compliance stuff in it. Now, there's not much in the system, but a critical thing, are my insurances current? Have they expired? When are they expired? All those little things that you would just need to understand what's happening on your project. Okay. Activity history, invoices. The big one is retention. Okay. For me, retention is a bugbear. I have two bugbears in the construction industry. One is retentions, and that everybody will go and do the retentions of what's being held on you. But what about the retentions you're holding on your subcontractors? From a financial point of view, you need a full picture. Okay. And is it being held as cash? Is it paper? What is it? That information all needs to be there. The final item we're still working on for this pack, and it's not there yet, and that is your cost to complete. What are my forecasted costs? Have they been put in? Can I see what they put in? Have the project managers done that? And from a point of view, here's your Myob Advanced. You can write your project forecasts directly back into the system. Now, I was asked the question the other day, well, what about time, extensions of time? That has a impact on not just the length of the project, but also your preliminaries in general and a whole lot of other things. And certainly you can write back time using the generic write back. This is a feature that's been in beta for about 6 months and will only come out in probably April this year in the next version of Velixo. So we've got version 6 now. Version 7 has some quite major changes in it. And while that's not a game changer, it certainly makes a huge difference to be able to write anything back into the database. If you wanted to write back price lists, if you want to write back customer information or whatever, you can write it all back through there. So a really powerful tool. And I just looked at my stopwatch and it told me that I'm 24 minutes over and 24 seconds over. So from my side, thank you very much. But what I do want to just lastly leave you with is this, okay, is have a go at a trial. And it's cost you nothing if you have it already. Otherwise, even when you start up, if you don't want Velixo, that's fine, but give it a go on a trial. And if you don't want it, we will leave behind a free version for you, which comes with Myob anyway and has some financial reports with it. On my side, thank you. Thanks very much for Momentum, and thank you for the shirt too.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, a great presentation and an overview of Velixo, and we have many customers using Velixo. These days, a light version is bundled with Myob Advanced subscriptions at no charge, and then the additional advanced features for construction attract a license, but a very reasonable license. And as you can see from what Chris took you through, apart from providing a really great set of out-of-the-box reports, which a lot of reporting tools might be very sophisticated but have a blank slate with nothing by default. But it also eliminates the risk of transposition errors, which we see many times where people are running reports, exporting them to Excel, copying and pasting into another spreadsheet, which is part of a report. And if one column is out of an alignment or somebody changes a formula, you're in a world of hurt if nobody picks that up. So that's one of the many problems that Velixo solves. So that's the end of our event. So just a quick recap. We talked about a lot of the challenges that face businesses either in construction or servicing that construction vertical, and how a combination of Myob Advanced and Procore and Velixo address a lot of those problems. So we're happy to take any questions. Feel free to raise your hand or pop something in the chat. I might preempt a couple. So questions that people ask us about Myob Advanced: is it AccountWrite? Is it an upgrade from AccountWrite? The short answer to that is no. It's a replacement from AccountWrite, designed and developed very separately, and for larger, more sophisticated businesses. So there's a process to go through to implement Myob Advanced, and we would help you through that journey and explain in more detail, what's involved. Another question we're sometimes asked is what type of construction business might run on Myob Advanced? The short answer to that is it's pretty broad. A head contractor, a subcontractor. I'd say that the functionality relating to civil contractors probably needs some expansion. But there's probably aspects of that Craig could talk about from a Procore perspective.
Yeah, just on that from a Procore perspective, look, it is from a civil, it really depends on the type and how they're made up. Typically, it is more about kind of building up, but we do have some good examples of civil construction on there as well. But again, like most questions, it really comes down to who they are, what they do, and how they do it.
Thanks, Craig. I'll touch on one more common question. How long does it take to move from my current system to Myob Advanced? Short answer to that depends on the size and complexity of what you're doing and what you're moving from. But on average, we would expect it would be a 3 to 6 month project, depending on complexity. What we like to do is get sufficient functionality up and running as soon as possible, and then other modules might be phased over time. Reason for that is you start to get benefit more quickly than if we've got a go live date with every module happening simultaneously. Plus you gain knowledge about the software that you've already bought earlier in the piece, which sets you up well for consolidating that over time. All right, I have no other questions in the chat, so we'll round things off. Thank you all for attending. We really had a good list of registered attendees, and so we look forward to catching up with you all post this event. If you do look for information about Momentum or Myob Advanced or Procore or Velixo, those are all the websites there. And feel free to reach out directly to us either by phone or email that you can see on the screen there. So thanks for attending. Thanks especially to our presenters. So John from Myob, Brian from Momentum, Craig from Procore, and Chris from Velixo. Quick question just came up then. Are we going to share the presentation? So yes, we have been recording that and we will share the recording with you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Al. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, team.
Thanks, everyone.